Hey everyone, Skull902 here, back for another part of Sonic Mania. This is part 7, and this time we'll be going around Hydro City from Sonic the Hedgehog 3. And yes, I mentioned this in the 3 and K LP, but yes, it is called Hydro City. No idea why the fuck they didn't separate it in the zone title card. Possibly as a reference to 3 and K, but that's only gonna confuse the younger generation still. They're still gonna call it Hydrocity, even though that's fucking wrong. But no, it's been confirmed by Sega, with Yuji Naka interviews and manuals, and I know that there's instances in plain text, like the jukebox in Sonic Mania, or not Mania, Jesus, in Generations, the other anniversary celebration game, the one that's not Sonic Adventure 2 or 06. Oh God, 06. But anyway, it's Hydro City, Hydro City, Hydro City Zone. Though, it really doesn't piss me off if you call it Hydrocity. I'm not this big of a prude about it in real life. Anyway. One of the funner zones from 3 and K to bring back, I'm quite glad that they did. If they absolutely had to, rehash old zones and whatnot, I'm glad that they brought this one back, because it hadn't been done before, and it was one of the better zones from 3 and K as well, so you got that going for it. But like I mentioned at the end of the last part, I didn't really get too much time to get into description about Metal Sonic's boss fight, or at least the second phase of Metal Sonic's boss fight, so I might as well do that here while I'm thinking about it. So, again, big dude transformed by the Phantom Ruby is a reference, actually, to... I don't think it's called Metal Sonic Kai. Could be wrong about that. I swear that's the name for something else. But Metal Sonic has like a big red form at the end of Knuckles Chaotix, and very similar in shape. This here Metal Sonic boss fight is to that one. And what he'll do is he's constantly charging at you. And I mentioned that after a while he'll do a charge-up laser attack, which you have to jump out of the way of. Similar, actually, to the fight at the end of Death Egg 2 before you go to... damn it, what is it called? Doomsday in 3 and Knuckles. But he'll do the laser attack, and he's also raising his arms and hands up and down, and the spikes for his fingers will hurt you. So what you have to do is carefully time spin dashes, or in Sonic's case, you could do a drop dash in order to hit him. So not really a big problem as Super Sonic, in which case, I can just run and bump into him and then go back and whatnot. That's why I like playing that boss as Super Sonic. And with Mighty, it's not a problem either, because Mighty, when he's going at high enough speeds and when he's curled into a ball, isn't affected by spikes. The timing's a bit of a bitch with spin dashing and whatnot. So I just tend to play it as Super and, not give a fuck. You could also do it by jumping, but that's also some tight timing and whatnot. But, I preferred the old boss fight. Kind of wish that they had kept it in Mania mode, but, whatever. So, getting aside from that, we are about to enter what I think is personally the best boss, mini or otherwise, in this entire game. This is such a cool, fun concept. and I absolutely love it. I wish that it went on for a little longer, but what we get is pretty fucking awesome. So Sonic enters the fucking Eggmobile and has to fight Eggman by sucking him up. It's a reverse of the Hydro City boss from 3 and Knuckles, which is pretty cool. Eggman will swim around in his little diving suit with his flippers and whatnot, which is amazingly animated and whatnot, and he'll drop bombs. What you have to do is suck up Eggman, and make sure that he's at the top of the current, I guess you could say, and make sure that one of the bombs isn't like above him, because you'll hurt yourself that way. But I mean, look at that is fucking cool. That is absolutely fucking cool. We don't see Sonic in the Eggmobile terribly often, The only other instance I can think of is that very short bit that's like cutscene only in Launch Base Zone. So it's really neat not only to see Sonic piloting the Eggmobile, but also to be able to control it as well in a way that you're fighting Eggman. I absolutely geeked the fuck out when I first saw it. I absolutely geek the fuck out every time I see it and every time I play it. I think it is like possibly the most original and cool concept for any boss fight in this game and perhaps the series. Not my favorite boss fight in the series, but it's one of the coolest goddamn things, and I'm just really happy that they put it in the game. So there you go. Now, one of the things about Mania's level design, something I can mention here, is that typically in the remixed zones, typically in the reused zones, I should say, Act 1 will take a lot from the original, and Act 2 will be like a little more original in terms of level design and gimmicks and whatnot. This zone here, Hydro City in Mania, kind of reverses that trend. We're getting a lot more of the original level design in Act 2 than we did in the first act. And we're also getting like things like, the fucking cool ass mini boss fight, and the reference to I believe it's also the 8-bit version of Sonic 2 in this zone, with Sonic being in the bubble and whatnot incorporated into here than we are with Act 2. Act 2 is very much more so just like straight up the original level design from 3 and K. Not to say that it doesn't have some of its own, of course, because they all do, but this here is the only zone I can think of actually that really does that. So that's a bit interesting. I think it's one of the very few zones where I don't get like absolutely knocked onto a path that I'm completely unfamiliar with in this run. I mentioned that before, but that's something that happened to me. Interesting shit. And man, that was a sad way to lose the bubble shield. I'm sad now. I'm depressed. So yeah, just a cool thing about the level design. Interesting that this is like the only one that sort of did the rehashing stuff in Act 2 as opposed to the first act. Something else I want to move on to is the animation for the game. We saw the opening cinematic before the title screen and whatnot, and we've seen this like amazing sprite work and everything. He didn't do the animation on the sprites from what I understand, but The intro was animated as well as like the trailers and whatnot by a man named Tyson Hess, who gained like a reputation in Sonic for being a part of the Archie comics, and was also and has also been involved in the IDW comics as well. One look at his Sonic Wiki profile will show he did the Archie comics, like I said, IDW. He was like the main designer for like the Sonic Mega Drive thing, which was like a classic Sonic short mini series and whatnot. Again, the IDW comic, but he also did work on like the Amazing World of Gumball and Bravest Warriors comic series as well. So if you're into those things, he did the art for that, and I really like his style. It's fun looking, and very original, I'd say. It's like I don't think that there's like official Sonic art that quite looks like his. So good stuff, Tyson Hess. And I look forward to reading more issues of the IDW comic. This is another fucking boss I'm gonna have to explain later, because I was like fanboying a bit over Tyson Hess. So here we get a reference to the mini boss. So they kind of like switched it around with the acts. So with Act 1, we get a reference to the main boss from 3 and K, and then the mini boss is the boss for Act 2, the washing machine bit. It basically works the same as it does in 3 and K, except like Sonic can't jump high enough from the floor. Oh wait, no, he can. I did it. Oh well. It works basically the same, except the dude's bigger and the arena's a little smaller from what I can tell. So if you're familiar with that, you should be fine with that portion of the boss. Knuckles, no! Heavy Magician, you bitch. So anyway, next time, we're going to see the conclusion to this cliffhanger with Mirage Saloon. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.